Hello everyone, welcome to Retro Dad and Modern Lad, the YouTube channel and soon to be website. Today's video is going to take a look at 3 great arcade compilation games for the Sega Saturn. There are quite a few great arcade compilation games for the Sega Saturn. The 3 I've chose range in price, with 1 cheap, 1 medium and 1 expensive, but they're all great in my opinion. I haven't included the excellent Street Fighter collection, which can be picked up on Japanese import for £30, as it was featured in my last video, so check out that video, expensive games and cheap alternatives, to see that one. So let's take a look at today's first arcade compilation for the Sega Saturn. Sega Ages is a compilation of 3 of Sega's most famous arcade games, Outrun, Space Harrier and Afterburner 2. You can pick up the European PAL version for around £15, which is an absolute bargain. Now, these games were released separately in Japan, but they will cost you around £30 each, although you do get extras like Outrun has a remixed soundtrack you can listen to and a 60 frames per second mode, making the Japanese release of Outrun probably the best version of the game ever released on a home console. However, I'd definitely recommend you get this compilation because it's just brilliant value for money. Outrun is a game that never seems to age, although it must be said you can't beat sitting in the imitation Ferrari in the arcade. Afterburner 2 is a plain shooter with a great graphical style, especially for the time it was released in the arcade, when at the time arcades were way ahead of the home console market in terms of technology. It can also be quite challenging and very frantic. All the games in this collection were made by Sega AM2 and the legendary Yu Suzuki. Space Harrier is an on-the-rails shooter which is fast and frantic and has large boss characters to battle at the end of each stage. Another famous way to play these games is in the Shenmue series arcades, which was also made by Yu Suzuki. If you're a big fan of Shenmue, check out the Let's Play series that we're currently doing on the channel. The next collection is a Japanese exclusive released as Capcom Generations 2 in Japan and has a collection of Ghosts and Goblins, Ghouls and Ghosts and Super Ghouls and Ghosts on it. Again, these are 3 great classic games. I have cheated slightly because only 2 of them are from the arcade and 1 of them is a SNES version. The game will set you back around £50, which is a middle of the range game for the Sega Saturn. Games are quite challenging, so I can imagine the 2 arcade versions you would start eating through your money very quickly. So it's great to have them in a collection in the home, as I find these games very addictive and fun to play. My personal favourite of the 3 is Ghouls and Ghosts. I really like the graphical style and I think that the gameplay still holds up excellently even to today. It's an absolute classic. Another highlight of the game is the fantastically composed music. It's very catchy and it'll be in your head for days afterwards. The SNES game Super Ghouls and Ghosts is also included, and being a home console version is a bigger game. Now, the SNES original was plagued with some slowdown, and while it's been significantly improved here, there is still some slowdown evident, although it is still a great game, and I would highly recommend you go out and add this game to your collection. Next up is the absolutely fantastic Arcade Gears 1-3 collection featuring Roosters, Chariot and Don Buru. I am a massive fan of this collection. All three games are absolutely excellent. Roosters is a shooting game in the vein of Metal Slug, while Chariot is a shooter like Cotton style, and Don Buru is a puzzle game. There's only one downside to this collection. It's nothing to do with the actual games, it's the price, as it's now quite a rare game and costs around £150. However, if you just want to play the games, they're also included in the PlayStation 2 Capcom Collection 2, which can be gotten for around £30, and you'd also get other games in that collection. I think the graphical style is absolutely stunning, and all games can be played in 2-player as well, making them even more fun. I couldn't recommend these games high enough, so let's have a look at some gameplay. You've been listening to Retro Dad and Modern Lad, the YouTube channel and soon to be website. If you've liked this video, give it a like. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. We got loads of videos mainly on Sega Saturn and Dreamcast, but also other retro modern computers. Thanks for listening and I'll see you soon. Bye.